There comes a point on the twin flame journey when the silence begins to hum with promise. You might not see tangible movement in the physical world yet, but something within you knows. Something is shifting. You feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the quiet space where hope and knowing touch. That something is the divine masculine, beginning to align with his higher self, with his soul mission, and ultimately, with you. This journey has never been linear. It's filled with detours, delays, and divine timing. There are moments when you feel so distant, so disconnected, that you question whether the bond was even real. But it is real. And when alignment begins, it becomes undeniable. The energies begin to merge again, not through physical force or expectation, but through grace, surrender, and soul evolution. What does it mean when the divine masculine is aligning for the final reunion? It means his soul is awakening to the truth of this sacred bond. He is beginning to integrate the lessons of his past, break free from old cycles, and open to the deeper truths of love and unity. This process is often internal before it becomes external. You may not hear from him yet, but you will feel the energetic shifts, and those shifts are important markers of what is to come. So let us dive deeper into the signs. These are not wishful illusions. These are soul signals, indicators that the divine masculine is preparing, spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, to meet you at the place of wholeness. This is not about chasing or waiting. This is about understanding, sensing, and allowing. Coming up are 7 signs that your divine masculine is aligning for your final reunion. Number 1, he begins healing his core wounds. One of the clearest signs that alignment is unfolding is the divine masculine's willingness, consciously or unconsciously, to face his deepest emotional wounds. These wounds may stem from childhood abandonment, betrayal, fear of failure, or the belief that he is not worthy of love. For a long time, these wounds kept him in survival mode. They caused him to suppress emotion, avoid vulnerability, or seek validation from fleeting relationships or external achievements. But when his soul begins to awaken, there is a deep inner urge to heal, not just to feel better, but to become whole. This isn't a surface-level shift. It often starts with discomfort. He may begin to question his life choices, his behaviors, and his belief systems. He may feel disillusioned with things that once brought him comfort. This is the soul's way of pulling him inward, forcing him to confront the truth of who he really is beneath the masks. You may notice this in subtle ways. Even if you are not in contact, you might sense his emotional purging through dreams, sudden waves of sadness or warmth, or intuitive messages. You might feel his energy going through cycles of pain and breakthrough, as if he's shedding layers of fear. Often, the feminine feels this healing process energetically, because your souls are always in silent communication. When the masculine heals his wounds, he starts seeing love not as a threat, but as a refuge. He no longer fears being seen, held, or known. This opens the gateway to real intimacy, which is foundational for the reunion. Healing doesn't mean he becomes perfect. It means he becomes real, available, conscious, and capable of choosing love over fear. The most powerful thing you can do in this phase is to hold your own healing. As you continue integrating your shadows, forgiving the past, and releasing expectations, you create a sacred mirror for him. This energy supports his healing on the soul level without needing to interfere in his journey. Remember, soul healing is not done through fixing, but through alignment. Number 2, he begins breaking free from karmic cycles. Karmic cycles are not punishments. They are lessons in disguise. The divine masculine may have spent years entangled in karmic relationships, addictions, codependency, or patterns of avoidance. These experiences were part of his soul curriculum, teaching him what love is not, so he can recognize what love is. As he begins to align with his higher self, those karmic structures begin to fall apart. Sometimes it looks chaotic. He may end a long-term relationship, leave a career that no longer aligns, or experience a spiritual crisis. This collapse is necessary. Karmic ties often feed off old programming, guilt, obligation, low self-worth. When he begins to rise in consciousness, those cords lose their grip. You might sense this breaking away as a sudden energetic distance. If he's in a karmic relationship, you may feel the cord between them weakening. This doesn't mean you sit and wait for news. It means you trust the process and detach with love. When you release attachment to timing, You create space for divine unfolding. This stage is also where many divine masculines experience spiritual awakening. They begin seeking truth, questioning the narrative they've lived by. They may feel drawn to meditation, nature, philosophy, or inner work. This is the beginning of sovereignty, when the masculine steps out of victim consciousness and begins taking responsibility for his soul journey. Breaking free from karma is not an overnight decision. It takes courage to leave what is known, even if it's toxic. But when the soul is ready, the universe aligns events to make escape not only possible but necessary. He may not yet reach out to you, but he is clearing the space within him where your love can finally land. During this time, hold your energetic boundaries strong. Let go of any urge to rescue or fix him. Trust that your inner work is already creating a ripple effect. You are not separate. You are two sparks of the same flame. As you rise, he rises too. Number 3. He feels drawn to you on a soul level. The pull becomes magnetic again, not out of desire or need, but from soul resonance. After a period of silence or distance, he begins to feel your presence again, not as a memory, but as an active energy in his heart. This is not about obsession. This is soul remembrance. As he releases density from his field, he becomes more sensitive to spiritual energy. Your soul begins calling to him, not through words, but through frequency. He might start dreaming of you, feeling your presence at random times, or being reminded of you through synchronicities. The more he tunes into himself, the more clearly he hears you. This stage is sacred. The masculine is beginning to listen, not to external noise, but to the whispers of his own heart. And your voice is there. It always has been. As he reconnects with this deeper part of himself, he feels the truth of the bond you share. It's not just a memory, it's his home. The feminine often senses this too. You may begin feeling waves of love, unexpected joy, or heart chakra openings. These are signs that the connection is reactivating at a higher level. This doesn't always mean instant communication. Sometimes the soul connection is restored long before the physical contact resumes. But the energy is real, and it is sacred. This phase invites you to deepen your own connection to your soul. Spend time in stillness. Allow yourself to feel his presence without needing to chase it. Love him in silence. Love yourself even louder. Your energy is the invitation, not the expectation. Number 4, he starts awakening to his divine mission. Twin flames are not just here to love each other. They are here to serve a higher purpose, together or apart. As the divine masculine aligns, he begins sensing that his life has deeper meaning. The emptiness he once tried to fill with distractions becomes a call for purpose. He may feel the urge to shift his career, help others, create, or simply live with more integrity. This is his soul nudging him toward mission energy. The masculine begins realizing that power isn't control, but presence. He wants to build something meaningful. He wants to lead from the heart, not the ego. This mission awakening doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be as simple as him committing to personal growth or becoming more conscious in his daily life. But the essence is the same. He begins aligning his actions with truth, not survival. This is what makes him a conscious co-creator. You might notice him pulling back from superficial connections or becoming quieter. This isn't rejection, it's reflection. The masculine is reevaluating everything because his soul is preparing to step into something sacred. You are part of that sacredness, but he must first embody it within himself. During this time, stay rooted in your own mission. Don't wait for him to join you. Shine where you are. Your radiance reminds him of his own light. Your soul path is the compass that guides him home, not through pressure, but through inspiration. Number 5, he becomes more emotionally aware and spiritually open. The divine masculine awakening is often marked by a softening of the emotional body. For so long, he may have been disconnected from his feelings, not out of apathy, but out of survival. Society often teaches men to suppress emotion, to remain logical, to view vulnerability as weakness. But the twin flame journey is designed to dismantle all illusions, especially the illusion that feeling deeply is dangerous. When alignment begins, something beautiful starts to happen. The masculine starts listening to his feelings, not to run from them, not to numb them, but to understand them. This doesn't mean he becomes expressive overnight, but you will sense an openness, a shift in his energy where the walls he once built begin to dissolve. He may become introspective, spending more time in solitude, reflecting on his past, or contemplating his emotional reactions. He might begin exploring spiritual paths, yoga, mindfulness, journaling, or simply walking in nature. These actions are signs that he is softening. He is no longer fighting the soul, he is allowing it to speak. This emotional awareness is the seed of real transformation. It allows the masculine to understand his fears, to release the guilt he's been carrying, to forgive himself for not being ready sooner. It also opens the channel for divine love, because love can only enter where truth resides. This phase may be accompanied by energetic communication between you. You may feel his emotions as your own, sense his breakthroughs, or suddenly feel waves of peace after long periods of confusion. That is his soul beginning to harmonize with yours again. During this time, nurture your own emotional landscape. Let your heart stay open without leaking your energy. Trust the unseen. Trust the gentle signs. Let him come into his own light. The masculine cannot love you fully until he is willing to feel. And when he begins to feel, truly feel, his reunion with you becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Number 6. He begins letting go of control and surrendering to the unknown. Control is often the last illusion the masculine releases. For a long time, he may have tried to micromanage life, clinging to logic, routine, or certainty. This control was his armor. It gave him a sense of power in a world that often felt chaotic or unpredictable. But true alignment requires surrender, not surrender as defeat, but surrender as trust. As his soul rises, he begins to realize that control is exhausting. It blocks flow. It keeps him disconnected from his own intuition and heart. Slowly, he begins letting go. He stops forcing outcomes. He no longer runs from discomfort. He starts listening to what life is trying to show him. You may notice this as a change in his energy. He may seem calmer, more grounded, more present. He might take more risks, not reckless ones, but soul-guided ones. He may leave behind relationships, jobs, or identities that no longer fit. Not because he's lost, but because he is finally ready to be found. Surrender opens the gateway for divine love to enter. It is in this state that the masculine becomes available, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. He stops resisting what his heart has always known. He stops running. He starts returning to himself and to you. You may feel this shift within. The anxiety you once felt may start to dissolve. The uncertainty may be replaced with a quiet knowing. You sense his energy not as chaos, but as calm. That is the power of surrender. It brings both souls into harmony without either needing to chase the other. In your own journey, mirror this surrender. Let go of timelines, stories, and outcomes. Rest in the unknown. When both twin flames surrender to the divine, the reunion becomes a natural extension of their inner wholeness. It is not a goal, it is a reflection. Number 7. He starts taking steps toward reconnection. Perhaps the most evident sign of alignment is when the divine masculine begins moving toward you, not just energetically, but physically. This doesn't always happen with a grand gesture or dramatic re-entry. Sometimes it begins with a simple message, a random call, a subtle reach out that carries more soul than words. This step is sacred because it often comes after a long period of silence or separation. It's not born from fear or longing, it's born from alignment. The masculine doesn't return because he misses the past. He returns because he recognizes the future. He sees you not as a memory, but as a mirror of who he is becoming. In this phase, communication may feel more grounded. He may express himself with more authenticity, even if it's awkward at first. He may take responsibility for his actions, or simply want to rebuild trust slowly. Don't expect perfection. Look for presence. That is where the truth lives. He may share more about his inner journey, open up emotionally, or express a desire to start fresh. He may not label it as a twin flame reunion, but you'll feel the soul behind the words. You'll know this is different, not because of what he says, but because of how it feels. As he comes forward, it's essential to stay rooted in your own worth. Don't shrink. Don't abandon your boundaries. Let the reunion be built on mutual truth, not fantasy. Let it unfold naturally, without control or pressure. This stage is about co-creation. Both of you have done the inner work. Both of you have walked through fire. Now you stand not as halves, but as whole beings ready to unite, not to complete each other, but to expand together. If he hasn't come forward yet, but you feel him moving toward it, Honor that. Sometimes the soul prepares the reunion long before the body does. Trust the process. Trust your knowing. Love does not rush. Love remembers. The final reunion is not just a moment in time. It is a vibration, a consciousness, a sacred return to wholeness. Whether it unfolds today or months from now, the deeper truth is this: your divine masculine is aligning, not just for you, but for himself. And that alignment is what creates the sacred space for true reunion. This journey has tested you, it has stretched you, but it has also expanded you into your true self. You are not the person you were when this journey began. You are wiser, softer, stronger. You are more connected to your soul. That transformation is not separate from your twin flame. It is your soul remembering itself through love. As your masculine aligns, so do you. Reunion is not something you wait for, it's something you embody. And when both souls rise in alignment, love doesn't need to chase, it simply meets itself in the middle. So continue walking in your truth. Keep your heart open, but your energy grounded. Let your soul lead. The reunion is already written in the stars, but it blooms in divine timing. When it arrives, you'll know, not because it looks like a fairy tale, but because it feels like home. The journey of twin flames is not just about romance, it's about awakening. And in that awakening, you rediscover the most sacred truth of all. You were never separate to begin with.